Quality cinema? Not really. But at least there were plenty of treats thrown in for the fans. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 bad movies with awesome Easter eggs.
Now stay right there and look real pretty.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at movies that were either critical failures or box office flops or some combination of both, but which at the very least included Easter eggs, references, or cameos that inspired little bursts of fan joy. If a film was both financially successful and reasonably well received by critics, but has historically gone down as widely hated by fans, it will also be considered. Number 10, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Whether you're a fan of the Jurassic Park follow-up or not, any cinephile has to appreciate the attention to detail squeezed into that blink and you'll miss it blockbuster scene. Right before the bus crashes through the storefront, you can see a number of movie posters for films that don't actually exist, and they're each funnier than the last. Most notably, Tsunami Sunrise starring Tom Hanks, and the second film in the Robin Williams-led Jack franchise, Jack and the Beanstalks. The real winner, however, is King Lear, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, a poster by acclaimed poster artist Drew Struzan. Number 9, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Currently serving a life sentence. He is most eager to join us.
The first of the reboot series failed to replace the Sam Raimi flicks in most hearts of fans or critics, but it was reasonably well received. The same, however, cannot be said for the sequel, which rather than improving on the formula, just chucked more and more into the mix. The narrative was disconnected and spent so much time trying to set up intended sequels and spin-offs that it neglected to tell an enjoyable story. As a result, viewers became more interested in the spin-offs than the film itself. Vulture's wings, Doc Ock's limbs, Felicia Hardy, Venom references, oh my! So many films we never got to see.
What's your name?
Felicia.
Number 8, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday.
Planning on smoking a little dope, having a little premarital sex, and getting slaughtered?
He's a killer that's been everywhere from summer camp to outer space. Become the franchise baddie with the series' second film, Jason Voorhees went on to appear in half a dozen more poorly reviewed films before finally landing himself in hell in 1993. Sadly, it wasn't production hell. The movie was widely panned, with only two things making it stand out in a good way. First is the Freddy Krueger teaser, which it would take New Line Cinema 10 years to make happen. The second is the appearance of the Necronomicon from Evil Dead 2, which would later play a role in Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic books. Number 7, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Put down gun.
You got it, pal.
The original Indiana Jones trilogy is sacred to many. Crystal Skull? Not so much. Admittedly, the critics were kind to it, and there are plenty of fans that stand by it as a worthy entry. For others, however, it was a travesty, a sign that the franchise had jumped the shark and nuked the fridge. And yet, there's no denying that it paid tribute to its roots, throwing in a few little nods. In Hangar, or Area 51, you can spot the Lost Ark. In Indy's home, you can see many photos of his friends from past films. Ford even quotes his other Lucas character, Han Solo.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Number 6, Man of Steel. The visual effects were stunning, and it was certainly a fresh take, but many felt that for a character all about hope, the film was very heavy-handed, dark, and destructive. One place where filmmaker Zack Snyder excelled, however, was in gifting fans countless Easter eggs throughout the film. He not only teased the larger DC film universe with LexCorp and Wayne Enterprises logos, but also included plenty of little nods to the world of comic books in general. Star Labs, Utopia Casino, Blaze Comics, and more. Then there's that tantalizing open pod in the Kryptonian ship. Supergirl? Yes, please. Number 5, The Mummy.
You shouldn't be here.
I followed you!
Modern studios want their own cinematic universe, but that's easier said than done. After Dracula Untold failed, Universal went back to the drawing board and made a second attempt at kicking off their dark universe with The Mummy, which despite the star power of Tom Cruise, still failed to connect with critics or attract audiences. Action heavy, it centered on characters people simply didn't care about. You know what people did care about though? Seeing the Book of the Dead from the 1999 Mummy film, which is used as a weapon by one of the characters and is a standout reference amid a number of sly throwbacks to early monster movies. Number 4, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Hardly the strongest Star Wars film, many fans opt to skip Episode 1 altogether when rewatching the series. But while it is a bit of a mess on a narrative level, would you really want to skip the Duel of the Fates? Or how about the many little visual treats? Lesser known but much loved Jedi Quinlan Vos can be seen in the background of one scene. E.T.'s species is part of the Senate. You can even spot an Eva pod from 2001 A Space Odyssey in the junk shop. Lucas squeezed in so many minuscule Easter eggs into this film, it almost needs its own list.
No, they won't!
Number 3. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Fans have been waiting for ages to see these two DC heavy hitters on the big screen together, but unfortunately, the eventual film failed to meet many expectations. Everything looked picture perfect, but many felt that the plot was garbled and filled with seriously confusing character motivations. It was yet another film busy setting up its next installment rather than telling its own story. It failed as a film, but it succeeded in hyping up the Justice League and building a bigger world. The character intros, the Darkseid teaser, Robin's suit, the armor from The Dark Knight Returns, it delivered everything fans wanted, apart from, a solid film. Number 2, The Dark Tower.
There are no gunslingers. Not anymore.
Casual viewers may not be aware, but most, if not all, of Stephen King's works exist within one big universe. It sounds like an impossible feat, but his Dark Tower series is actually what holds them all together. This reality-bending film adaptation was long in the making, but most agreed that it failed to do the source material justice. Despite this, it did manage to appease fans with a few acknowledgements of this large-scale interconnectedness. A photo of the Outlook Hotel from The Shining, a dilapidated carnival marquee sporting the name Pennywise, a copy of Misery's Child, there are just too many nods to mention at once.
I shoot with my mind.
I shoot with my mind.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
So I'm not Patience anymore?
You are Patience. And you are Catwoman.
Number 1, Predator 2. The first testosterone-fueled Predator film was big, loud, unabashedly masculine, and a whole lot of fun. Predator 2, however, replaced the fun with excess grit, mind-numbing violence, and significantly less heart. It's actually earned a cult following in retrospect, but it's still generally considered to be a bad film. Amid all the flying bullets, bloodshed, and shrapnel, however, was one little teaser that made eagle-eyed viewers shudder with joy. On the Predator ship, there is a distinct-looking trophy, the skull of a xenomorph from Alien. The eventual crossover would itself prove a disappointment, but in 1990, the idea of these two franchises overlapping was downright mind-blowing.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.